Patchwork Heart Ministry and Fiat Ministry Network invite you to discover your mission, a brand new in-depth monthly video series featuring engaging Catholic speakers who will challenge you to live your life abundantly. For only $25 a month, you will receive a personal monthly mission, including 3 full-length inspirational talks that build upon a new theme each month. Sign up for the Discover Your Mission tier at patreon.com/patchworkheartministry today.
Fiat Ministry Network and Patchwork Heart Ministry present Journeys in Faith. Now, here's Andy Santis.
Hi, and welcome to Journeys in Faith here on Fiat Ministry Network. It's a great evening tonight because I have a special guest, and it's the producer of this very network. I have Kent Kalhosky as my guest this evening. So, Kent, thank you for being here with us on this show.
Oh, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Yes. I mean, I'm so grateful to you for producing this show here at Fiat Ministry Network. And it's great to have you on because this show is all about your own journey and also all the great things that are happening with Fiat Ministry Network. Yeah. And also with our partner, Patchwork Heart Ministry, Bill Snyder. So we'll be talking a lot about that too, and the great work that you're both doing with wonderful Catholic content. So so much to share.
No, and yeah, I really appreciate Anne for, first off that, a while back, having an idea to come on Fiat and doing a show. And I just really want to, thank you for that idea and to build this and doing it's really fun to with all the guests that you've had so far and will have to be part of this show, and just thank you for your just time and patience with me with everything that we're doing. But it's a lot of fun.
It really is a lot of fun. I'm so grateful to you, Kent, also because the Holy Spirit was definitely at work. When I met Bill Snyder, who's the founder of Patchwork Heart, and of course you were friends with him, and we all came together with our missions, with the nonprofits that we represent. You with Fiat Ministry Network, Bill with Patchwork Heart, and me as the director for a foundation, the St. Raymond Onotis Foundation, which you also share many of our podcasts on Fiat Ministry Network. So we're also so grateful for that too.
Yeah, it's a great partnership, and it's really funny how all this, kind of happened together with a idea of, because of everybody losing opportunities to do their speaking engagements with the virus, the COVID happening throughout the country and the world. Everybody was kind of being stuck at home. And Bill had a great idea to, we actually were working or did a couple things prior to around the Advent season, around Christmas. And I just, kept on touching base with him here and there. And he reached out to me and said, would you like to do a virtual conference? All these speakers can't speak in their, venues, why don't we bring them all together and do a virtual conference? And so we did, and you were part of that, and it was a wonderful day, very long and a lot of hours, but I really enjoyed that. That's part of what I really enjoy doing this part. I had to start Fiat in front of the camera. I'm more I'm better at the behind the camera, but I want to do both, because you have to be part of everything in this kind of media. You have to do both and understand. It's great to understand both sides of the platform of this social media, this virtual way of connecting with people and evangelizing through a great platform like Fiat or Patchwork Heart Ministry, all of your and yours and everything that Anonymous Foundation, and it's just one of those things that I just really enjoy doing. So
Same here. It's been such a blessing. And as you said, it came about during the whole COVID-19 onset. And as much as many of us feel that it's been a difficult thing for so many, that was one good thing that came out of it for us, was that we were able to start this whole venture with Patchwork Heart, Fiat Ministry Network, and also even the work that I do with the foundation, St. Rima Nonatus Foundation.
Yeah.
So again, thank you, Kent. It's such a blessing that we'll be able to talk to you, because this is, your network, and it's a blessing for me to interview you for Journeys in Faith on this evening.
Yes.
I thought we could start out with, if we could, your own personal faith journey. A lot of times when you interview people on the Fiat show, you ask them about how they came into a deeper faith and what their faith means to them. So I'll ask you that same question this evening.
Sure. And that's one of those things that really got into the Fiat Ministry Network, was going back, in my teenage years, kind of getting away from the church, knowing that I should be at the in the church, but I had other plans, things that I wanted to do. I, love to fish, and I learned how fishers of men, kind of after coming back to the church, fishers of men was a big part, but I love to fish. So that was my kind of what I was doing, throughout my teenage years and sports and all that. But, I went to some Protestant, and we can learn a lot from our Protestant brothers and sisters, and I did. And my friend invited me. I was, in a sense, still dating and finding that right person in my life. And so why not go to a situation of meeting these great people, Christians, and so I met a lot of great people, but also learned, scripture through the Protestant, how they, would do some services, and just be part of that, just understanding that little bit of how they did things. But it came back that I had a situation where we had, I call it the Last Supper at Perkins. We went to Perkins, and it was a big table, and a bunch of people were coming back from, we were watching a show, and we got some food, right, as what do you do when you're in the college and right out of college, just getting some food with friends. And I just heard all the scripture, boom, 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 like scripture after scripture. And I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive that they know that. And then I, met people that, some friends that were, back in the Catholic Church, and inviting me to come back. And so I went back after 15 years. My really big situation was going through confession for the first time after 15 years, and just unleashing all the grief and sins and everything that I've done for, the past 15 years. And a lot of people might know Father Larry Richards. He's over in Erie, Pennsylvania, where I'm originally from, in PA. Go PA.
Mm-hmm.
Philly. But anyways, and so I had that thing of, okay, this is great. And then my last thing that, and I think there has been Penny Warner mentioned this, Encounter Christ. She was a guest on both shows, your show and my show, a couple times, and she mentioned Encounter Christ, tech, which was a 3-day retreat, and that really got me to understand the Catholic Church and how special it is. Through those 3 days, I was actually a priest that was at that time a seminarian. Kept on asking, what, how do, you got to make tech. You have to make tech. It's the great 3-day. You're never going to forget it. So I finally, after 4 years, said, okay, I'm going to go to tech. I'll make Father Mike happy. Now he's a priest, so I'm going to give out Father Mike Polnick, great priest over in Erie, actually, but in the Erie diocese. And so I went for about a half a day, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I just, too much of this, I'm not ready for this. Maybe I was over my limit of understanding and all that. And the leader of tech said, you gotta just hang in for one day, and everything will make sense after this day. You have to go through this day. It's basically die day, and then there's rise day, and then go day. Those are the 3 days of tech. And so you have to die in the sense of you have to go to confess. There's a lot of things that happen in that day, but after that changed my outcome. I love listening to, and this is how Fiat came about, was hearing all these testimonies that people would share throughout that weekend about their faith and how their journey, their faith journey too, like their Fiat saying yes, all of this combined was that weekend. And that was kind of the platform that, okay, how do I do something? Because the other part of it was the technology. I love this technology. I love being able to jump to shot and do all this. I'm going to stay on camera right now, but I'll get you back on. But this technology is amazing, to be able to go out and, connect with all these people without even leaving your house. And so I was watching this man that was more on the computer side of things, teaching about computers, but he was live streaming. He was doing this way before a lot of people thought it was, before Facebook Live, before everything. It was, he had to have this CDN. He had to have a video player on your website. None of it like what we're doing right now. And I thought it was fascinating, and that was like 10 years ago. He kind of like, okay, this is really great. I love this, and I love picking and listening to people with their faith and testimonies about their journey in faith. And so I'm like, okay, how do I combine them? And so, I would, I did audio, like I know you do audio with Sowing Hope, and it's just, that's what we started out doing, was audio. And then video came, and video, everything was very expensive back then. to do a lot of this stuff that we're doing for basically free or very cheap if you're, just want to pop onto Facebook with your phone. And so that's how everything built from Fiat, because really my personal journey helped me get to this journey, because without the personal journey of listening and kind of working with God instead of pushing him away, got me back to where I'm doing everything that I'm doing right now.
Wow, it's just an incredible journey.
Yeah.
And you are also very blessed with your wife, Sarah, and the kids. And I know that you will be moving soon. And that's also an undertaking for you and your family, but a blessing too.
Yeah.
So wishing you all the best with that. But
Thank
everything that you said, I echo. I mean, just how God has worked, and the service that you are offering on this particular Facebook channel is just an incredible thing for those people who are really wanting to be enriched, because you have some amazing shows and some awesome guests that come on to those shows. And it's all about the Fiat. It's all about loving God more and giving your life to him, because the Fiat is that yes. And I know that that's what this ministry and what this network is really all about. So I'm thankful to you, Kent.
Well,
thank you for bringing that to people and for sharing your story with all of us. I know God has a lot more in store for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
It's going to be a journey that I think you'll look back on and see how God really brought you through all of these times to evangelize in such a great way. So again, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Anne. And, one thing that I'm really excited about is just continuing to work and grow. I know we're going to be talking a little bit more about the Fiat and Patrick Hart and everything that's going on, continuing to work together. But it is a great opportunity that people can do this kind of work now. I see it all over. You can see it on everything that you're doing nowadays is online, in the sense that, yeah, there's some bad stuff that I don't really want to think about, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we need to be careful about. But what I see is this technology is what Jesus would be using to evangelize. I mean, if there was a way to evangelize to the masses like this, he would be doing that. And that's what my personal opinion is. Maybe some, but I just think, any way to share and inspire, to grow in your faith, he would use, and that's what we're trying to use here. And I know with Patrick Hart Ministry, we're all working to bring that even more together in audio and video, because everybody can learn differently, and learn the faith however they want to.
Yeah, it's great to offer both audio and video. And let's face it, with the millennial age group and younger, that's exactly where you want to be.
Yeah.
Not to say that books and the written word isn't still important, but digital and phones, laptops, iPads, things like that, it's where people are. So you reach them where we can. And I think that's an incredible thing that you're doing. Now, in the second half, as Kent was saying, we're going to really talk a lot more about the great things that are happening between Fiat Ministry Network, Patchwork Heart Ministry, and even the St. Raymond Nonatus Foundation. But I know that somebody might be watching right now, Kent, and maybe it's even a young person who is just getting involved in something like you're doing, and maybe thinking, wow, it's so amazing. I wish I could get involved in something like that. Would you have any kind of words of advice for younger people, or just anyone who wants to spread the faith in this particular kind of way?
Yeah.
Because I know you've learned so much.
Yeah, that's a great question. And one thing I try to tell people when you're starting off doing this, do it. I know I'm not, saying it as, with the Nike swoosh. There's things, but in the sense you have to do it. One thing that took me a while was to get the motivation to get in front of the camera. I mean, I was shy when I was in high school and school. I was not someone that wanted to go in front of people and speak, but I'm just looking at you, Anne, and I don't have to worry about anyone else that's watching me or seeing me or whatever. But it was the initial understanding to get in front of the camera and talk. I have no problems. I love to talk. But also to have the content and the sharing of the faith to hopefully teach someone about the faith in a kind of a proper and, hopefully somewhat of a serious way. I think you can always have a little bit of fun. You can have enjoyment sharing and have a laugh or two, but always, make sure that sometimes you have to be serious. But it's just doing it. The technology and all that is so vastly different than when I started. I was using completely different way of doing it. I mean, back in Skype was, popular, and Skype was still popular for a lot of people to use. But Zoom now, Zoom.us is everybody's using it. I mean, just talk to schools, and my wife's a teacher, and she's asking me questions about Zoom. I knew all that when Zoom was not even talked about or known about, but to do it and really sometimes that's the hardest hurdle, is to getting in front of the camera or even a podcast if you just want to speak, and just do it, because you can try to polish it and make it as fancy, and that's one thing I do want to do, is I want to make everything that we do look clean, and it's been years of just fine-tuning everything, making it clean, but don't worry about that right off the bat. Because look at my first couple of videos that I've done 8 years, 10 years ago. I would be kind of shuddering don't to show them right now. But to really focus on getting something out and getting on a routine. Sometimes it's tough for me with a family and all that to stay on that routine of my shows and people wanting, and I have no problems to getting out of the way and doing shows for other people. And that's what happens a lot of times when I'm not doing the Fiat show. But just getting in front of the camera, just do it.
That's great advice. Thank you so much. We're almost headed toward the end of the first half of the show. I do want to mention to people who are watching that they will see a commercial for something called Discover Your Mission. And when we come back after the break, we're going to talk a lot more about that. That is a very special opportunity for excellent Catholic content with really, truly great Catholic speakers. And you can learn about that. I'll just give you the website now in case you want to check it out, is patreon.com/patchworkheartministry. There's different levels there. You can see that up on the screen. So we're going to talk a lot more about that during the second half. So Kent, before we end this half, did you have any other words that you wanted to say before we take that break?
No, just, again, I think focusing on how you, just starting out, taking baby steps to doing the work that you need to do to feel comfortable. No one's, a lot, you need practice with that. But I think God wants you to share into some kind of way, what he has in your graces of gifts, and to share that with everybody that you can. And if you can say, I love Jesus and I love this faith, and I want people to come from any walks of life to understand a little bit more about Jesus, that's really what it's all about, is to just, take it the time, because that's one thing that I hear a lot, and I appreciate that a lot of people, I know you mentioned that, and people feel comfortable just, as not the number one host, not the least worst host, but just feeling comfortable when I'm doing it, because I let my guests speak and all that, and have that opportunity to have their time for the show. I feel that's one thing you always want to make everybody welcome whenever you're doing a show or anything like this. So that's.
Oh, yes. You do a great job, because I was a guest on that show too. And I'm so grateful to you, Kent.
Well, thank you.
Yep. Well, we do have to take a short break. So we'll be back in just a few minutes here on Journeys in Faith. Hi, my name is Ann DeSantis, and I'm the director for the St. Raymond Nonatus Foundation for Freedom, Family, and Faith. You can learn about us on our website at nonatus.org. I'm here to tell you today about two great podcasts that I hope that you will tune in. The first Tuesday of every month at 8 o'clock, we have a podcast specifically for Catholics affected by divorce. From 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern, go to Philly Nonatus on YouTube to subscribe. In addition, we also have a podcast the last Thursday of every month. That's also at 8 o'clock Eastern Time for 1 hour. And that one is for families in crisis. We have some really great guests coming up soon, so hope to see you then. Please also consider the fact that you can make spiritual direction appointments with us, with our spiritual moderator. All you need to do is go to our website on the contact form and just reach out to us. We'd be happy to hear from you and look forward to setting up an appointment. So we'd love to connect with you. Please share this video and let people know that we're there for families affected by divorce and also families in crisis. Thank you.
Patchwork Heart Ministry and Fiat Ministry Network present the Discover Your Mission series.
When I was young, in the 1950s, I attended Catholic grammar school and I memorized the Baltimore Catechism. In fact, I think I got an A on all of my tests. I faithfully attended Mass each week, not because I wanted to, but because I was afraid if I didn't, I would suffer eternal damnation. I followed all the rules. I followed my Catholic faith faithfully. But it wasn't until I became a wife and a mother and I began to try and pass my faith on to my children that I realized that everything I knew about Jesus was memorized doctrine.
I can't even share with you how I was so rooted in my faith. And I was attending Mass, but I was not present. I was a good man, I was a good father, I was instilling the sacraments into my family. I was definitely not intentional. I was stuck rooted in my faith.
But what kind of strength did he have? Jackie did not just have a strength of body or baseball skill. He had a strength inside of his spirit, a courageous meekness that empowered him to play the game.
And I tell him what is going on with me, and he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, no, I think this is like some sort of miracle, dude. And he's like, oh, of course, but I'll believe it when I see it. Honey, you've been trying to quit, and you've been saying this and saying that. And I'm his big line to me is, you shouldn't say things because I never follow through on them. And so this was week after week, month after month. He is looking at me like, this is a miracle. There is no way that you, on your own, could have done this.
In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 16 through 21, St. Paul compares the sacrifice of the Christians to the sacrifice of Israel and then to the sacrifice of the pagans. Paul calls the chalice the blood of Christ, and the bread as participation in the body of Christ, and then warns his listeners that you cannot partake of the table of the Lord and the table of demons at the same time. So in other words, you need to decide, what are you going to participate in? Are you going to participate in the historic Christian idea of the altar of sacrifice, which is in the Eucharist, or not?
Hi, welcome back to Journeys in Faith here on this Friday evening with the producer and the founder of Fiat Ministry Network as the guest here. So I'm so grateful to you, Kent Kohaski, for being my guest on your own network here.
Thank
and
you.
we spent the first half of the show talking about your own faith journey, which is something that you do yourself when you interview people on the Fiat show. And we got an opportunity to do that with you this evening. And for this half of the show, I thought we could talk about the great things that are happening between you and Patchwork Heart, and even with the foundation that I represent, the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation. So I thought we could start out with talking about the different shows that you offer on the network, because there is so much.
Yeah, I think one thing that we've done, you have to have kind of your starting with is the Fiat Ministry show. I do kind of a way that the guests, they're encouraging all to say yes to Jesus Christ. We go through that, and I've gone through a lot of shows in the past. We've done other shows. We've done one with a teenage girl that was great, and a couple others that come and go. I think that's one thing that happens, and you just understand that's part of doing this kind of work, is you meet people, and but Hungry for More is another show that we've been doing, and it's on sometimes on Thursday nights when I'm not doing my show with Al Smith. He's been doing some great stuff with a lot of different the virtual conferences and other things like that. And he's done a virtual conference with us too, and we do as much as we can the daily mass of a couple times a day. That's one thing we've talked about when we were building, and what do we do, bringing that mass into and we get permission from these parishes to run kind of a simulcast of that. And that's great. We really appreciate them. And then now Patchwork and you and everything that we're doing, there's so much that we're kind of working together, which is so much, it makes life a lot easier, and we can build a kind of a use that a spoke of a wheel, and then get those just any way to get out. I always think that we're trying to use two-way streets, three-way streets. We're always working with each other. It's never just a give. I don't want to always feel like I'm taking or anything. I want to give and take, and that's the great thing about all these different ways of sharing, different ways of audio, just audio videos, and doing the podcasts like You're Sowing Hope with Bill, and everything else that that is going on. I think one thing that I really like that we're doing is also becoming a way to say, if you do need anything like this, that, please contact us and we can, set you up and have a nice either conference, or we can do, a show together. And that's the thing that we're trying to also, help people out if they don't want to do it and they just want to be on and have that opportunity to do, everything that we're doing on the network. We can, help them out. And that's kind of another step that we're trying to do. And that's just I really want to thank you, Ann, for, allowing us to be part of this great, because as we were talking about, journeys in faith and kind of the idea and when to do it and all these different things that we were trying to get down and but you were patient with me, and that's one thing that I think a lot of times with any kind of show or doing something, patience has to be part of it, and because we're all trying to work together and we're trying to understand, how to, everybody wants something to be done, because I want to produce the best show for you every Friday night, and I want to produce anything that Bill's doing very well when we go on, like our random shows that we just pop on. A Heart That Says Yes. I mean, you want to produce the best quality videos and content, and really get people motivated for that, because I think that's one thing we need more than ever right now, is motivation that God is with us all the time, and with all these shows kind of as a prayer, as we're praying throughout, all these shows are having some kind of way of using this media to share in his word. And that's the great part. I mean, you have so many different guests that you're having on, and that's one thing, I want to thank you for all the guests. I mean, it's lined up all the way. I mean, the rest of the year we're busy.
Yeah.
And so
Journeys in Faith has been an amazing show, so I thank you again for producing it. And just for those who are watching, it is on at 8:30 every Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Now it's also on podcast too, so you can listen to it with Patchwork Heart on YouTube, as well as in a lot of their podcasting places, such as Apple Podcasts and Podbean and TuneIn and something called Breakers TV. So we thank Bill Snyder for putting it out there on all those different platforms, the Journeys in Faith with Ann DeSantis show. And it has been so great, because we've interviewed people of faith, people who are involved in pro-life, a lot of authors, a lot of people in nonprofit. So it's just been a blessing. And I thank them. If they're watching or listening right now, I thank them for being a guest. Now I want to bring it back again, because you mentioned that there might be somebody watching who is looking at this show and thinking, wow, I might want to work with Kent somehow. So I just invite them to get in touch with you and maybe get a consultation about what you can do for them or their business, their nonprofit. Maybe they're an author or something like that, and there's something that you can do with them. So Kent, tell me where they can contact, or tell us where they can get a hold of you.
The best way is it's just Kent at fiatministrynetwork.tv, and we'll be I'm kind of working into with the move and all that. I am going to kind of build also trying to say this is a career, in the sense of I'm really enjoying doing this, and to do any kind of streaming for anybody or recording or anything like this is something that I've been really working at it and trying to do a way to make this as a more than just doing it as a hobby per se, as it's kind of, that's how it started. It was a hobby, but now boy, it's more than a hobby now, and I'm really happy about that. But I don't see, anyone out of the. I mean, that's one thing with this kind of technology. Everybody can use it, and anyone that is welcome watching this that would want to take some time to talk about some ideas. I want to make your vision a reality on video. Is kind of the idea. Is anything, number one, any nonprofits or any Catholic organizations that want to work, I really want to help them, but it's opening up to anything now. But I see this platform not going away. I don't see. I mean, we're gonna be here on some kind of video for until it goes away, until the internet is gone. And that's kind of how I feel like this could be a way to build a more than just fiat, to build into more a career, which that's what I'm hoping. But you're praying. I mean, that's one thing. You just pray about everything, and I'm just glad that my family's okay and everybody's around us, my friend, everyone that I'm always praying for, and that's the most important thing. But I sometimes would love to have an opportunity to help anyone out, and please give us at least a chance. I say that having a chance to do this for someone is a really rewarding opportunity, and it's a two-way street. And I just hopefully, if anyone would be interested, please let me know, and just email me is the best way.
Thank you, Ken. That was great. And I'm sure that somebody who is watching or listening is thinking, and maybe it's not yourself, but let your friends know. I would invite people to let them know about Fiat Ministry Network. Please like the Facebook page too. And as Kent said, his email address is kent@fiatministrynetwork.tv, if that's correct.
Yep.
So thank you.
Yeah.
I wondered if we could spend, we have about 10 minutes before the end of the show or so. We could spend about 10 minutes or so talking about the Discover Your Mission series. It's an amazing opportunity for you to get wonderful Catholic content, as I said, with really awesome speakers. So Kent, maybe you could talk a little bit about that too.
Well, yeah, and that was really a lot of Bill Snyder's idea from Patchwork Heart Ministry, and I just went, yeah, we can do helping out with content that I had, and one thing that I really am passionate about and really was proud to do was and it hits me all the time to think about John Curry Sr., which he was a true warrior. He was the old warrior. That was his nickname. He did a audio show, and he did it for about an hour and a half talking. It just on nonstop talking, and but about the faith, and was really traditional. But he wanted to always teach the catechism, and he said, okay, let's do it. And so we did a 38-part series on the catechism, and it was back when we were still starting with video on Fiat. So the video was not as, I mean, we could use it. We have every video done, which I might want to add to the Patreon, but Patreon was just a great way. I mean, that's on, I mean, the whole series about the catechism. If you want to learn the catechism, that's on. I mean, and then, Bill started doing a series, and I helped him, do a little bit of editing with his first, but it's just a great opportunity to have kind of a way to have your Catholic Netflix, or a way to kind of have your own retreat, and have a series of talks and go through them. And the great thing about it is, as soon as you sign up, you get everything from when we started. So the whole library of premium content is all on your, just a click away. And that's the great thing about what Bill started. And I just appreciate being part of it too. I think you do a wonderful job too. 5 minutes in faith, and we have just a lot of fun, just building the content. I think that's one thing that Bill and I were talking is, we need to have a way to, keep people, in a sense, and from another show on Fiat, hungry for the faith. And this is kind of a way, an appetizer to, throughout the month, to get something more, and to be, we got a, you'll get it in your email, a notification when a new video pops up, and you take your time to watch it and enjoy. And I'm really thrilled about being part of it.
Yeah, it really is amazing. And the neat thing is that there's so many different levels too. I know there's like the $5 level, the $7 level, the $10 level, and then there's the 25, which gives you all of those missions. So it truly is something that you want to check out and get a hold of. Hey, it's a great gift too. I mean, you can get it as a gift for a friend, maybe a Christmas gift, a birthday gift. So again, it's patreon.com. /Patchwork Heart Ministry. So as we're about 5 minutes out to the end, I wondered if you had any final thoughts about your own faith, or just people who are going through a rough time right now with the crisis that our country has gone through. Do you have any words for them?
Well, I think something that I, think about when we're doing all of this kind of, you're watching a lot of things going on video, and having something produced on Facebook or YouTube. One thing that I noticed, that please keep searching for the reason for God, because sometimes people are, just searching this other stuff out there that doesn't mean anything, but using this content of learning more about God to be part of a relationship with God in these kind of series can really help you, build on your faith, your journey in faith. And I think with all our journeys, that's one thing that I'm noticing that that we're doing right now, is that this is the best time. I believe in my heart that in some way God is putting us in timeout for whatever amount of time that we are suspended, to do a lot, as much as we can, compared to prior to the virus coming. He's putting us in timeout to listen more, to be together in a different way, but to kind of like work out our relationship with him, and allowing us to build a relationship with him. So don't forget to build a relationship. Use this kind of media, use Patreon, use everything that we're doing here at Fiat or at Patchwork Heart Ministry, and help your soul. I mean, we're right here on Fiat. We always want to encourage one soul at a time. We're kind of focused on one soul at a time, but to make sure that your soul is hungry for him, and not to forget about him throughout this time, because he's asking us to take some time away from all the busy schedules, sporting events, and all that, to be with him. So that's what I would hopefully help people out with.
You said it so perfectly, Ken. Thank you. I know you're speaking right from your heart to those who are searching. So thank you again.
Yeah.
And I also invite people to connect with you once again at your email that you provided earlier, and also right here on this page at Fiat Ministry Network. So also, we'll be back again next Friday night. So please join us every Friday at 8:30 p.m. Ken, thank you again for allowing us to have this show, because if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here sharing with everyone.
Well, no problem. And thank you again for having me on. It was an honor, and it was really fun to be on tonight. So thank you again.
It's an honor for me too. So good night, everyone. We'll see you next time here on Journeys in Faith.
Journeys of Faith is a production of Fiat Ministry Network and Patchwork Heart Ministry. For more information about Journeys of Faith, email info@fiatministrynetwork.tv. And be sure to friend, follow, and like us on social media. Just search Journeys in Faith with Ann DeSantis.